Okay, this is Math 2, Unit 14, Packet 1. Everybody should be on the review page, which is in your packet, and flipping over to number 9, and this is our review for the quiz. All right, a bag contains 40 marbles. 14 are red, 8 are blue, 6 are white, 12 are green. Find each probability if one marble is chosen. Write your answer as a fraction reduced to lowest terms. It does not say you can write as a percent, so we will have to reduce. Okay, probability is red. That one's pretty basic. How many red marbles do I have? How many? 14 out of how many total? 40. That goes in your workspace. Once you reduce it, it goes in your answer column. So plug it in your calculator or divide. I could see we could at least divide by 2. What do we get? 7 over 20. All right. Probability, it is green. How many green marbles do we have? 12 out of 40. Reduce. You can divide by 2, possibly even 4. 4 does go into both numbers. What do you get? 3/10. All right. Blue or red. Or means what? Add or multiply? Just add them together. How many blue marbles do you have? How many white marbles do you have? All together. So where's blue? 8 and how many white? So how many blue or white marbles do we have all together? How many? 14 out of 40. Hello.
The name's on the front.
Thank you. Emily and Miranda? Miranda's not here. Emily? Okay. She's homesick today. Okay, so where did the 14 come from? Adding what? The blue and the white? The blue and the white. Guys, please stop the talking. Okay, 14 out of 40. We reduced that one earlier. What is it reduced to? All right, not red. Now, on this one, you could use the formula, or you could just count up all the ones that are not red. Or take 40 and subtract the amount that are red. It's totally up to you. Do you guys want to use the formula or just count up the marbles that are given up at the top? Count them. Okay. So either take the total, subtract the number of red, or take all the ones that are not red and add those together. Go ahead and do that now. Okay, what is it? 26. Did anybody subtract 40 minus the number of red? That's kind of using the formula. Did anybody just add up the non-reds? Yes? Okay. So 26 out of 40, it could at least divide by 2. What is it? 13 over 20. All right. Questions at all? Okay. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to go through and fill in this chart. Was anybody absent the day that we did this chart in notes or in class? Okay, so I'm going to start you off really quick. You just add up all your numbers. What's 1 plus 1? 2. And then 1 plus 3 is 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 plus 1 is 3. And you just complete the whole chart. Because this is the sum for 2 dice. The dice sum outcome table is here. You're rolling 2 dice and adding the sum up. The smallest possible sum is 2. The largest possible sum is 12. Go ahead and fill the rest of it in. All right, is everybody done? Does it look like that? Yes? How many total are in this chart? 36 total. If you went through and counted each of these sums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, and so forth, and kept going and going and going, you'd end up with 36. Okay. Rolling 2 dice, find the probability of rolling the sum of 6 or 8. What does or mean? Add or multiply? Add. You add and subtract the what? Do you remember in the formula we learned? You add and subtract the overlap. Is there going to be any overlap for 6 or 8? Meaning, can a sum be 6 and 8 at the same time? No. So do you agree we can just add them? How many 6s do we have? How many 8s do we have? And add them together. How many 6s do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you could write it as a fraction, 5 over 36, plus how many 8s do we have? And do we have to worry about any overlap? No, because there's no such thing as rolling 2 dice and the sum being 6 and 8 at the same time. All right, what do we get? 10 out of 36 reduce by 2. What does that give us? 5 over 18. Okay. Are you guys okay if I change this problem? Okay. Well, you did it already. Sorry. Okay, we're going to keep the beginning. One of the dice is a 4. Sorry. Nope. The sum is 4. And it is a double. The sum, so we're going to cross this one out. The sum is 4, and it is a double. I'm going to erase my pencil markings that I have up here. And means what? We did talk about that in notes as well. Overlap. Okay. Where are the doubles? We did talk about that as well. Does anybody remember where the doubles are? Two numbers that are the same. So would a 4 and a 3 be a double? What about a 4 and a 6? It gives me an even number. Is a 4 and a 6 a double? No. A 1, 1, a 2, 2, a 3, 3. Do you agree it's all these numbers on the diagonal going from the top left to the bottom right? Okay. The 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Are there other 6s? Yes, there's plenty of other 6s, but are those 6s made with doubles? No. So it says the two happening together. It was a what? A 4. So how many 4s do we have? 3. Is there overlap between these 3 4s and these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doubles? Do they overlap? Yes? Is it possible to roll 2 numbers that are the same and they add up to 4? Yes. How many times is that going to happen in this chart? Only that once. Kids will say, well, there's a 4 here, yes, but it's a 1 and a 3, not a 2 and a 2. This is a 3 and a 1, not a 2 and a 2. Here is the only place where it happens that 2 numbers are the same and the sum is 4. So what do we have? 1 out of the total still, because it didn't use the word given, 1 out of 36. Can anybody tell me, raise their hand, if you can tell me, what number would I change this to for the answer to be 0? What number would I change this 4 to? Jackson, paying attention, please. What was it? Any odd number on the chart. So if I had put a 5 here, would the answer be 0? Yes, because you could see there's no 5s that overlap with the 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Does that make sense? Okay. Next one. Q and R are what? Mutually exclusive. There were 2 special formulas we had for that. Does anybody remember? It was P of A and B and P of A or B. Does anybody remember them? What was A and B? That should be the easiest one. 0. Mutually exclusive. They do not overlap. A or B, what did we do? Add them. P of A plus P of B. Usually we subtract the overlap, but there is no overlap, so we don't worry about it. Okay, 15. Without any work, what's your answer? 0. No work needed. 16. And those of you that were absent, you're doing this with us as well. 16. Q or R. What do I do? Add them. So 0.62 plus 0.12. Can you guys add that together? Point what? 74. Okay, now I've had a lot of kids ask in all of my classes, for the not problem, do I have to use the formula if I can just use my chart? No. But are they giving us a chart here? So do we need to know the formula? Yes. I've had a lot of kids, do we need the formula? Yes, because we're not always given a chart. Not means you subtract this probability from what number? From the total, from the 1, because we're using decimals. So 1 minus P of Q or R happening at the same time. 1 minus the probability of Q or R. Typically, not always, but typically you would have found this one already. Did we already do Q or R? Yeah, where is it? What number? It's right here. So we're just going to do 1 minus what? So it's not a hard formula. You just have to remember to take what the not piece, the Q or R, take that probability of it happening and subtract it from 1. What do you get? 0.26. Okay. Are we good? Now, because of time, I'm going to skip these, which means you have to do these on your own. We're going to flip over here, do a few of these really quick, and then get started. Yes?
Quiz will we have to know about like the independent?
Good question. You will not need to know the independent, dependent formula stuff. No. Okay. So, we talked about this yesterday, or block day for those of you that were absent. What's the probability as a 10th grader and math? Remember from that lesson, what does the word and mean? Overlap. They happen together. How many people are in 10th grade and like math? Here's all my 10th graders. Where does it overlap with the math? 140. So 140 out of 1,000. That's a crazy number. I'm going to cross out my zeros. 14 over 100. Are you guys okay? You reduce on your own later so we can speed this up? Okay. Let's move on. 9th grade or science. That's a good one to go over. You have to remember the formula for this one. What's the formula? I'm just going to use letters. P of A plus P of B, and then what do you do at the end? Subtract the overlap. Please do not forget that for the test. Ors, when you're using this, the frequency table, ors, you add and subtract the overlap. What's the probability the person's a 9th grader? How many 9th grader totals do we have? And if you want to, you can make individual fractions or one big one. Plus, how many science people do we have? Minus the overlap, meaning science and 9th graders at the same time. 130. Why? Because we added it twice. 130 is in the 300. 130 is also in the 350, so we counted it twice. We subtract it, put it over 1,000. What does, can you guys just give me the total? 300 plus 350 minus 130. What does that give you? 520? Yes? Over 1,000. Again, you can reduce it on your own later. Okay, I'm gonna jump around. Oh, let's do 24. 10th or 11th. How many 10th graders do we have? Yes? I think it's more like the homework, the 200. Okay. 10th or 11th graders. Okay, so we do 10th graders first. How many 10th graders do we have? 325. Plus, how many 11th graders do we have? Minus the overlap. Is there overlap between 10th and 11th graders? No, those two events are called what? Mutually exclusive. Good job. They are mutually exclusive. So this minus the overlap, if it exists. Is there an overlap? On this one there was, on this one there was not. So you're just adding 325 plus 375 is what? 700 over 1,000. Again, you can reduce, oh, we can cross it another one, 7/10. That one was easy. Okay. Let's just quickly go through. 9th grade and 11th, what does and mean? Overlap. So here's the 9th graders, and here are the 11th graders. Are they going to overlap? No. 9th grade will overlap with the subject, or subject will overlap with the grade, but will two grade levels overlap? Or two subjects overlap? No, those two events are called what? What's the answer? 0. Okay, shall we go over one of these given problems? Okay. I'm going to do 27. Probability they like math, given they are an 11th grader. When I have this, is my total population still 1,000? Is my population out of the total number? No. I look at the math or the 11th. Always the second one after the bar or after the word given. How many 11th graders do I have? Of those 375 11th graders, so you're only focusing on these guys right here. Of these 11th graders, how many of them like math? Then that's it. 180 over 375, reduce it on your own. Okay, I think we're ready. Do you guys want to do the not one just to make sure we have it? Okay, not 11th given, not science. Where's my denominator? The non-11th graders or the non-science people? Okay, so go up to your list, look at all of them, and cover your science. How many non-science subjects do we have? We have 2. How many total people like the non-science classes? Bless you. 650. So my denominator is 650. Out of those 650, how many are not 11th graders? So we want to take these guys out. So you have 2 choices. Add those 4 numbers together, because those are the non-science or non-11th graders, or take your total 650 and subtract those 2. It's going to work either way. You decide, plug it in your calculators right now. The total 650, because that's how much I have here, 650, and subtract 180 and 50, or start from scratch and do 80 plus 90 plus 110 plus 140. Go ahead and do that now. What is that? You have choices. Because we're not counting the 11th graders, you can take the total, which is 650, and subtract those 2, because we're taking those out. We don't want to count those. Okay, you have a number. What is it? 420. Anyone else get 420? Okay, so 420 out of 650, and you can reduce on your own. Thank you. All right, let's remember, whatever we didn't do together is what? Is your homework. So make sure, wait, there's no name on this. Can you hold on a second?